Hello everyone, here are the latest market news on August 13th, 2020. The S&P 500 failed to close at record high. Yesterday, the S&P inched ever closer to a new high, but then the bottom fell out suddenly and stocks ended the day lower. There was no repeat today. The S&P 500 rose 1.4% to 3,380.35, just 0.17% short of a record, while the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 289.93 points or 1% to 27,976.84. The Nasdaq Composite gained 2.1% to 11,012.24. Putting worries about the rotation into cyclical stocks and out of tech to rest, at least for one day. The U.S. ordered millions of doses of Moderna's COVID vaccine, which remains in phase 3 trials, and the consumer price index rose more than expected. This contributed to the positive indicators. Stable and unchanging China stocks. China stocks were unchanged on Thursday as investors were cautious ahead of a U.S.-China meeting this weekend to review the implementation of a bilateral trade agreement signed by the world's top two economies earlier this year. The Shanghai Composite Index was unchanged at 3,319.28. China Blue Chip CSI 300 Index was down 0.28%, with its financial sector sub-index lower by 0.26%. The consumer staples sector up 0.31%. The Real Estate Index down 0.42% and the healthcare subindex down 2.15%. Chinese H shares listed in Hong Kong rose 0.47% to 10,263.88, while the Hang Seng Index was down 0.12% at 25,213.62. The smaller Shenzhen Index was unchanged for the day. The startup board China Composite Index was weaker by 0.77%, and Shanghai's tech-focused Star 50 Index was up 0.61%. Fed policymakers about economic growth. Fed policymakers say economic growth will be muted until virus contained. The U.S. economic recovery will be slow until the coronavirus is under control, and Americans will have to manage life with the virus for at least the next several months, three Federal Reserve policymakers said on Wednesday. After rebounding strongly in May and June, economic activity began to trail off in July when an increase in infections led to new restrictions in some states and contributed to a slowdown in spending. Employment growth also slowed considerably last month, and the expiration of enhanced unemployment benefits has raised concerns that jobless Americans could start to fall behind on rent and other expenses. Twitter expands the rules against misinformation. Twitter made a statement on Wednesday regarding the plans to expand its rules against misinformation regarding mail-in ballots and early voting in the U.S. elections this year. Voting by mail is not new in the United States. Nearly 1 in 4 voters cast 2016 presidential ballots that way. The move will involve coming up with new policies that emphasize accurate information about all available options to vote, including by mail and early voting. Ahead of the 2020 U.S. election, we're focused on empowering every eligible person to register and vote through partnerships, tools, and new policies. Jessica Herrera Flanagan, Twitter's vice president for public policy in America.